And look, even with all of that confidence, it's the red pill's fault apparently that marriages aren't working out. That's crazy. Our good friends at the Canadian Broadcasting Company, they recently did a study and they found that a lot of marriages are becoming a little shaky, heading toward divorce court because the husbands are listening to red pill content and bringing it home and wanting to restructure their situations, and now the wives can't take it, and like it must be the red pill's fault that the marriage isn't working out. So uh, I mean, I think this is a case of avoiding accountability because I'm sure she was cooking dinner timely and having her cheeks available to be clapped on a daily basis, and all of a sudden the red pill showed up, and now we're in divorce court. But I'm sure it's no more complicated than that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, okay, no, I can see y'all gonna hesitate, so I'm gonna just get in there. It's funny because it's almost like in a basketball game. I scored, and then
Nobody
I
wanted
toss
it.
it back, and I'm like, go again, go back to back. But real quick, and I want to try to be as serious as possible about this as I possibly can be. When you think about what the red pill content is, like by concept, is that the idea of an awakening, right? For some people, if you think about the Matrix, what's the guy's name again? Neo had the choice of picking between pills, one of which would have left him sleep, the other one awoken him to what was going on. Prior to this, though, right before the red pill, when we think about it, there was already a movement afoot. There were women who were deciding that, hey, we have more autonomy, we have more freedom, we're making choices. I've heard men complain about the divorce, for example, how that number is initiated by so many women. So to me, it's interesting. It sounds like women have kind of gone through their own awakening, right? They're recognizing, hey, we don't have to rely on a man. We have our liberties, right? Now we want more from men. We want men to be emotionally intelligent. We want these things, right? Which is completely in their right. They've had a chance to evolve. One would think that maybe they've had an awakening. They just didn't call it the red pill. Because I think it's important to have that context, because what's happening, and I think when I hear men today talk about in the red pill context, they're responding in a lot of ways, right? They've heard the criticism. So for example, when I hear some of the red pill dialogue say, hey, in order to get submission, you have to become a certain type of breadwinner or a certain type of earner. I wonder where would they have gotten that from? Songs, I remember Eddie Murphy and Raw talking about, gotta have a J-O-B if you want to be with. Back then, it was just about having a job. Now it's you have to make a certain amount of money, right? So I think it's fair to look at it in that context, because I do think that people can say, oh, red pill is ruining marriages. But is it possible that red pill is awakening men to the true nature of women, right? This idea of whether or not she really cares about you for real. Does she see you as someone beyond a protector and a provider? If that's the only way she sees you and you demand a certain level of respect, have you worked hard enough to obtain it? Right? Should you be okay with just being utilitarian and dealing with whatever, right? You've heard the term happy wife, happy life. Now it's happy spouse, happy house, because men have said, well, damn, why is her happiness the only one that matters? Right? And when you couple that with the conversation around mental health, right? And whether men are being seen and are heard, the number of suicide, that, so whatever the new word is for that, I haven't learned it yet, but you get what I'm saying, right? So all these things play a role, right? And so I think it's fair when we talk about, is the red pill ruining marriages? I'm going to say no. I think it's a far more nuanced conversation. I think it's very possible that if guys are already married, right? And they're already in relationships and they're awakening and recognizing that I'm nothing more here than just a provider. She doesn't really care about me for real, for real. And on top of that, even though I'm working hard, she still might cheat on me or file for divorce because I haven't caught up to her emotionally. I'm not intelligent enough, right? All these different things. And when I try to bring up issues, she gaslights me because somehow the fact that I'm bringing it up hurts her. So now I have to spend time calling her for the issue that I wanted to bring up and resolve in the first place. And so y'all are expecting men to stay in these relationships. And I think Delvin intimated this, like, oh, it's red pill. No. Right? There must have been something there before he discovered an alternative way of thinking, right? Because the last thing I'll say is there is a real conversation, and I'll be honest, right? Because I'm in the age group. I grew up in a time when R&B was about love, right? And how you uphold and how you should treat your woman. And I think back then it made sense because it felt like there was some reciprocity there. That if I did those things, that woman's gonna love me back and we gonna, go happily ever after, right? But that doesn't seem to be the case now, because some people feel like, oh, if I show up that way, I'm a simp, or she's gonna take advantage of me because it's all transactional. or she doesn't really value me for real. So I get it. We want to blame the red pill for these issues, but I think they've done a good enough job of awakening men in part to the nature of maybe today's women or some women. And to act like that's not the case, I feel like there's numbers that would say otherwise. And it's funny because these brothers use those numbers when they're making their case. So I don't think it's the cause. I do think it could probably be an acceleration because there was bullshit there to begin with. And I rest.
I got to agree with you on a lot of what you said. I personally think that the red pill to me has a lot of an analogous movement to the women's lib movement. Women were sitting around going, I don't like the way I'm treated. And then another woman was like, oh, girl, me too. My husband does the same thing. And girl three goes, we don't have to take this. We don't take this anymore. We're going to burn our bras and we're going to march and we're going to do all these things to change the way things are. And that's what they did. I'm proud of you, ladies. I salute you. And for every man who is now standing as a founder of his own level of this movement, I salute you too, sir. I salute all of you who are getting together and realizing that socially there is a trend that is not beneficial to men and it is not working out. And the only way we're going to correct things and get to some sort of equilibrium, some sort of harmony we can all work with is that we've got to be able to articulate what our concerns are. Right. And we got to know, hey, this isn't just a problem in my marriage. It happens in other marriages. We got to be able to talk about that. So the red pill nobody's against women. Nobody's attacking women. This is for men. It's not against women. Okay. It's something we're doing for us. Right. We're trying to make ourselves stronger on the inside. Right. See, when women say, I'm in my soft era, everybody clap. Everybody like, girl, you go, girl. When a man says, I'm in my boundaries area, suddenly like he toxic. Nah, let's get this straight. Red pill is not about men trying to control women. It's just about men wanting to be able to make sure that their voice isn't silenced. And because when the canary in the coal mine dies or when things are starting to go south, somebody should raise the call and we should all start talking about it. Y'all keep saying alpha lord, like it's a bad thing, but you want an alpha man, don't you? You want him to be in charge, don't you? You know the difference between a lord and a leader? A leader, you get to decide, I'm not going to follow them no more. A lord, you like, you know what? I realize you got it. Whatever you say, we're going to roll with that because you got the vision. Maybe he has the vision. I'm not saying man should lord over anybody, but you got to let that man lead. And some of y'all, every time the man speaks up, you're like, oh man, he's tripping, but he's just trying to lead. You wanted a leader, right? That means some things are going to have to change. That means the vision that you had might have to conform more to his vision. It might sound like some red pill stuff, like he's shaking up your whole world, like he's asking for stuff he wasn't asking for before. But does he deserve it? Because if he deserves it, it doesn't matter that he didn't ask before because he always should have had it. That's all we're asking for with this red pill stuff. So let's be real. Modern marriages got men risking everything for partnerships that don't even honor them, don't even look out for them, don't even make sure that they are even acknowledge it for Father's Day hardly, right? So if she can disrespect you on TikTok and file for divorce with half, where's the incentive anyway? That's all he's saying. We're saying, ladies, the men are talking and we agree that there are problems that you need to address. And if you don't address them, we're going to take the red pill and fix it ourselves. Go ahead, John.
Really quick. I gotta think because Nick brought up something. He brought up 90s R&B. And I want to do a night where we go get the lyrics for 90s R&B and read them out. It's really disturbing because I did all the things in 90s R&B. I listened to the lyrics, say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the women and, get the girl in my dreams. And then you get outside and men realize, wow, women don't really respond to this stuff. Women don't really act this way. That's a red pill awakening when you realize 90s R&B is mostly bullshit. That's the simplest example I can give you. Women don't always have the purest of motivations and intent. Women can be bad people just like men can. And they don't on blanket deserve the benefit of the doubt like we see in the case with the CEO. She's given the woman party is given the benefit of the doubt. That's a good example. Women can be shitty people too. And that's all the red pill really is awakening men to the fact that women aren't always sugar, spice, and everything nice. And I hate that hurts people's feelings.